or which organization is going to help the client in doing something. So that's how the questions would be. So in this video, I'll try to give you some examples also. Okay, so I'll go over the terms and I'll give you some examples also that how the stories could be. Okay, but don't expect that you will be getting the same stories. Okay, so those are some stories I got from the mock questions. Okay, so let's start with our first term that we have in ethics. So the first term that we have in ethics is agent. So that's a very easy term. I think we can understand from the name that agent is, after passing this exam, what we can call ourselves is a life insurance agent. So we cannot call ourselves a financial planner or financial advisor. Okay, so we should not be doing any misrepresentation. We can only call ourselves a life insurance agent. Okay, so that's the first and very important point to keep in mind. Now, there's one more point about this, and that is that agents are of two types. One is captive agent, and second one is independent agent. And again, from the names, we can easily understand the difference between these two. What is the difference? So captive agent is the person who would be only able to work with only one insurance company. Okay, so they can deal and provide the plans only from one company, so they cannot deal with any other company. Independent, so they are independent, so they can deal with more than one insurance company. So maybe they can have 10 companies, 50, 100 different companies on their platform. So whichever companies they have their contract with, they can provide the services from all those companies. So because they are independent. So very easily from the name we can understand the difference. Okay, maybe a little bit more in detail. Now, if somebody is captive agent, so as I said, they work with only with one company, so they can that insurance company is going to decide that which products they're going to provide, how their sales are going to work, how much commission they're going to pay to those agents. Okay, so how the training of those agents will be, everything will be done by that company. But the question is for these people, who's going to train them? Because they will have 10, 50, 100 different companies. So they cannot go to all the different companies and every day. Okay, so that'll be a little bit too much for them. So whenever anybody becomes an independent agent, they don't have to do the contract with all the different companies. So what actually the independent agents do is, they have to register their license with the companies called MGAs. So full form of this, Managing General Agent. So the full form of that is Managing General Agent. So whenever anybody wants to become an independent agent, they have to register their license with those MGAs. So these are the companies that don't own any product, but they have different insurance companies on their platform. Okay, so some MGAs could have 10 companies, some could have 50, some could have 100 companies. Okay, so the independent agent will go to them, register their license with them, and then they would be able to provide all the services from all those companies which the MGA has on their platform. Okay, so that saves some timing for them, and that saves lots of efforts for them. So they just register their license with them. Okay, and then the MGA manages everything for the independent agents, that how their trainings will be, which companies they're going to deal with, which products they're going to sell, how much commission they will be getting. So they will be making all those decisions. Okay, but here it will be done by one company. So this is the first and very, very easy term. I think we can understand that. Now, as I said in the beginning, that nobody's going to ask you like the definitions, like what is captive agent, what is independent agent, because it's too easy. Even if they ask you, I think everybody you can answer that. But how the example could be, how the stories could be, as I said in the beginning. So the story could be like this. Maybe they might give you like one person, he was in a school, and then he wanted to go into the financial industry. So what he did, he took exam for HLLqp. After passing his exam, he has a couple of options. He wants to go and work with only one insurance company, or he wants to go and work with 50 different insurance companies. Okay, or maybe just whatever story they'll make, and then maybe at the end they'll ask you that what type of agent this person is going to be. So if you see that he's registering his license with only one insurance company, so you'll say he'll be captivated. So if they say in the question, in the story, that he's going to be licensed, or he's going to be providing plans of 10, 20 different companies, so then you say he'll be independent agent. Or maybe they can put two people in there. Like one friend, he's a licensed person with only one company, other one he's licensed with 10 different companies. Okay, so then they ask you which one out of these is independent, which one is captive. So we can easily answer those. Okay, so all you have to do is like remember the terms like this, like what is the meaning of those. Don't have to like go and write on the exact definitions or anything, but just remember the meaning of those terms, that if they use them in the question, then you can give the answer for those stories. Alright, so that was the first one, the first thing that we need to understand, easy one in ethics. The next one that we have is, so then we have some basics that we need to understand as a life insurance agent. So some basics that would be used in the financial industry. Okay, so the first thing that we need to check is capacity and status of person. So the first one that we have is capacity and status of person. So whenever we go and see a client as a life insurance agent, so we need to check this. That does the person even have the capacity to enter into a contract or not? Because whenever anybody purchases a life insurance, there is a contract between the life insurance company and the client. Okay, so we need to see that is the client even eligible to enter into the contract or not. So what we need to check. So first thing is age, and this is a very, very important point to remember, age 16. Because all other contracts usually have age 18 legal age. So anybody is above 18 or above, they can get into the contracts. But for life insurances, it's age 16. So if anybody is 16 or above, they can purchase their own life insurance. So they can be the owner of their own life insurance plan. But if anybody is less than 16, they cannot purchase their own life insurance. Okay, maybe their parents can purchase. If they don't have parents, then whoever is the legal guardian for them, the court-appointed guardian, so they can purchase the plan for them. But if they're 16 or above, they can be the owner of their own plan. So they have the capacity to enter into a contract. Next thing we need to see, so somebody should not be drunk, or they haven't taken any drugs, or they should not be mentally incapable. Okay, so they should not have any kind of mental incapability at the time of signing the application, or they should not be drunk, or they should not have taken any drugs at the time of signing the application. Okay, so if somebody is drunk when you're getting the application signed, so you can say that person does not have the capacity to enter into a contract, so you cannot get signs at that time. Okay, now these are the few things that we need to see. Now again, if I make up a story, so nobody is going to ask you like what is the capacity or what is the status of person. No. So we need to see that how these things could be used. Okay, so what I can do is I can make up one story. I can maybe say that I, as an agent, I went to see a friend. I explain him about life insurances, and he says, okay, so I'll purchase it. It's okay. Let's spend some time together. So we sat there for a few hours. So my friend, he started drinking. Okay, so he said, okay, let's fill the application. Now we filled the application, and I got signatures from that person. Did I do anything right or wrong? That was not right, because he was drunk already. Maybe he's my friend, even I have explained him before, but at the time of signing the application, at the time of filling the application, he was drunk, so he was not in the capacity to enter into the contract. Okay, so that's why you need to remember these things. Anybody who's like you see like in the stories, like they have taken any drugs or they have some mental issues, you can simply say that person does not have the capacity to enter into contract, so they cannot purchase insurance. Or maybe I can make 4 small stories, like 1-line stories each. Maybe one of those I put that is 16-year-old kid, but everything else is fine. Other one is drunk. Other one has taken in some kind of drugs, or the fourth one has some kind of mental issues. Okay, so then I ask you, out of these 4, which person is eligible to purchase insurance? So if you remember these, you can easily say that these can't. But there's anybody who's 16 or above, okay, but they don't have any of these issues, that they would be able to purchase. Okay, so that way, whenever you will go over your notes again, or even you listen to this video next, try to understand with the stories. Okay, so that if you get any story in the questions, you should be easily able to answer those. Next thing we have is power of attorney, POA, and enduring power of attorney. Power of attorney and enduring power of attorney. So this, now again, what is the meaning of power of attorney? Maybe you know that already. So power of attorney is a document that anybody can create. Okay, so they can go to their lawyer, they can go to their notary, so they can create a power of attorney and give power to somebody else. Okay, why? To make any financial or legal decisions for them. So if let's say I'm going for holidays for a couple of months and I need somebody here to take care of my business or anything I have, I don't want anybody to be calling me that they need my signature, they need to get my permission for something. So I have somebody here who I trust, maybe my friend, maybe my co-worker, or maybe my business partner, anybody I trust. So I can give them power of attorney, okay, before going, and they can take all the financial and legal decisions for me. Okay, so that is the main thing why people give power of attorney. Okay, but as a life insurance agent, we need to know a couple of points for this. That what a power of attorney can do for somebody else. Okay, so what a power of attorney can do is, first question, or maybe for 2 points, as I said, that we need to know. First point that we need to know is that if somebody gave power of attorney to other person, what they can do for them in case of life insurances or investment. If we use an example, let's use this example here. So let's say this person John, he gave power of attorney to his friend Jack. Okay, so as I said, power of attorney is that this friend now, he can take all the financial and legal decisions for him. Okay, so a couple of points that we need to know just related to our industry that we need to remember. So first point is, can this person purchase life insurance for him? That's an easy point that we need to remember. Can this person purchase life insurance for him or not? So because power of attorney can make financial and legal decisions, and purchasing life insurance or purchasing any investment is a financial decision. So that means that this person can make that decision. So the answer for that point is yes, the power of attorney, they can purchase the insurance for the person who gave power of attorney, but with one condition. The condition is the power of attorney cannot decide beneficiary. Okay, so the power of attorney, they can purchase insurance plan, they can choose how much coverage will be, which plan they're going to get, where the investment is going to be, everything they can choose, but they cannot decide the beneficiary of that plan. The beneficiary will be decided by this person. Okay, why? Because they just want this restriction, because they don't want that somebody misuse this. So the power of attorney, they purchase plan for them, and they don't want the power of attorney to name themselves as the beneficiary, or maybe their family members as the beneficiary. So just to prevent that, they have this restriction that the beneficiary will be decided by this person. Okay, so as a power of attorney, we can purchase insurance on somebody else as well, maybe on our friend or anybody who we have the power of attorney for. Okay, because otherwise we cannot just purchase insurance on anybody. Okay, because let's say I want to purchase insurance on my friend, I want to purchase insurance on my neighbor, my co-worker. Okay, we cannot purchase any insurance like that, because we need to have something called, this is a very important term that you can remember for life insurance also. Insurable interest. So whenever one person is purchasing insurance on another person, so they need to have insurable interest on that. Means that if that person dies, the person who's purchasing the insurance plan, they should have like some kind of emotional or financial loss, then we can purchase insurance on somebody else. Okay, so usually that's why we can purchase only insurance in our families, like a husband can purchase for wife, wife can purchase for husband, for the kids, grandparents can purchase for the grandkids. Okay, so usually in the families where there is insurable interest, then we can purchase. But here, even there is no insurable interest here, but because he's a power of attorney, he can't purchase insurance. Okay, so that's the first point that we need to know for this. Second point is that can this power of attorney do changes in the existing plans? So this was for the new ones, like if they're purchasing new one. So second one is, can this power of attorney do changes in the existing plans? So if he has some kind of plans already. So the answer for that is also yes, because changing something in the insurances or in investments is also is a financial decision. So he can do those changes too. But again, with that condition that the power of attorney cannot change beneficiary. Okay, so they can maybe do other changes. They want to change the coverage, they want to change the investment options, okay, they want to change the bank account, anything else they want to change. But they cannot change the beneficiary of that plan that they already have. Beneficiary, if they want to, it could be changed by this person. So these are the two important points that you need to know what a power of attorney can do, or what we can do for them if any power of attorney comes to our office. So if you get any situation like this, so you remember these points. So if you get any stories based on this one, so you should be able to answer those if you remember these two. Or maybe the next one also, next point, one more point for these two. What is the difference between these two? Okay, so what is the difference is very simple difference. Difference is that the simple power of attorney, it expires automatically if this person who gave power of attorney, they become mentally incapable. Okay, so this person who gave power of attorney, if they become mentally incapable, then the simple power of attorney automatically ends. But if this person would have given enduring power of attorney, it does not end before its time period. Okay, because whenever somebody gives power of attorney, they choose a time period, a month, 2 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. So whatever time period is going to give power of attorney for, that time period will be in there. Okay, so if that time period is in there, the power of attorney will go for that time period. But if anything happens to this person, like this person becomes mentally incapable before that time, so if it was a simple power of attorney, it will automatically expire, even before that time. But if it was enduring power of attorney, that will keep on going for that time period what was written in there. So that does not expire. That is just one difference between these two. The other two rules that we have done, they are same for both of them. Okay, so that is our second term that we need to know: power of attorney and enduring power of attorney. Next one is difference between marriage and common law spouse. So difference between marriage and common law spouse. So what is the difference between these two? Maybe we know that already. The simple difference is a married couple is where they are legally married, husband and wife, so they have a marriage certificate, they are legally married there. Common law spouse, they are not legally married, but they are living together for some time. So mostly more than 1 year. So if a couple is living together for more than 1 year, so we can call them common law spouse. But here, they got married maybe 1 week ago, 1 day ago, they're legally married, so we can call them married couple. Okay, so there could be so many other differences there too. But again, we need to know some points for this industry, okay, for life insurances. So what are those points that we need to remember for this? First and very easy point, and that is, in both the cases, can the husband and wife purchase insurance for each other? Can the husband purchase insurance for wife and wife purchase insurance for husband? So the answer for that is yes. So there is no difference in both sides. Okay, so they're the same for both of them. In both cases, husband can purchase insurance for wife, wife can purchase insurance for husband. Okay, or if they want to have their own plan, husband has their own plan, write down the wife as beneficiary, wife has her own plan, write down him, husband as the beneficiary. Whichever way they want to purchase the plans, there is no difference in both the cases. Okay, very easy point to remember. Second one is, if they have the plans and then after some time they get divorced on this side, and here they get separated. So what is the difference then? So on this side, because they're legally married, so if they want to separate, so they will have to get divorced. Here they don't need the divorce, they can simply separate. But the point is, what will happen to their insurance plans? That we need to remember. That if they get divorced or if they get separated, what happens to the plan that they purchased before when they were together? So the answer for that is that there is no automatic changes. So there are no automatic changes. Okay, so that means that whatever the plan was working like, that it is going to keep on working like that. Whoever was the beneficiary, that person will stay beneficiary. Whoever was the policy holder, that person will stay the policy holder. So there will be no change. But yes, If they get divorced after that, they want to change the beneficiaries, they want to name the other person as beneficiary. Maybe let's say like husband and wife, they got divorced, so the husband is now married to somebody else. So now his new spouse, he wants to change the beneficiary of the older plan. So they can write down that new spouse as the beneficiary. Okay, but if they haven't done anything, if they haven't changed anybody, it is going to stay like that. Okay, so the beneficiary is going to stay the older spouse as well, like if they don't change. So even if they have, let's say their kids, so when they were together, they purchased the plan, they had their kids as the beneficiary. After that, they got divorced. Okay, maybe they got married again, but they haven't changed the beneficiary in the plan. The older kids are going to stay the beneficiary. So that means if they die, whoever was the beneficiary, means the older kids or the older spouse, they would get the benefits. But if after the divorce they change the beneficiary and they die, then the newer person would get the benefits. Okay, so very important point to remember for those situations where we get any stories related, that they give you stories and ask you who would be getting the death benefits. Because it's a life insurance course we're doing, so we could be getting lots of those stories. They'll give you some situation and ask you who would be getting the benefits here. Okay, so to give answers for those, so we need to remember one of these points. We'll do a couple of more things about claims after. Okay, but this is also important one to remember. Next is on these two sides, when one spouse or two spouses they get divorced, one spouse can ask another spouse for spousal support. On this side also, one spouse can ask another spouse for spousal support, so for maybe monthly expenses. So one person would be paying money to the other spouse. Okay, so they can ask for that in both the sides when they get divorced. There is one more thing that happens on this side. So there could be some property division. Okay, so they can one spouse can ask for the property share from the other spouse, but there is no property division on this side. Okay, so this is a very important point to know again for this one, that what can be divided or what cannot be divided. Okay, but before I go into that point, what you need to remember here is, as I said here before, that there is no property division on this side, because sometimes we might get stories in the questions and they will say that a couple was common law spouse. Okay, so if you see that they were common law spouse and they're asking you what will be divided, you can simply say nothing will be divided. Okay, so that would be very easy story actually for you if you remember that. But if they say that they were a married couple and then they are getting divorced and then they have some properties, they want to know what will be divided, what will not be divided. So then you have to read that carefully. So what will be divided? So let's go into that thing now. So what is divided on this side is family property. Okay, so there is no division on this side, so I'll erase that. But on this side there is property division, and it's only family property which gets divided. So what is family property? This is the property that they purchased after marriage. That is very, very important point to remember. Family property is the property that is purchased after marriage, so that gets divided if they get divorced. Okay? Or maybe one more thing, if anything was purchased before marriage and then there is increase in the value of that property, that we can consider family property. So if I give an easy example, let's say husband and wife, like before they were not married, so the person, the male, that he has a house. So when they got married, after they lived together for a few years, in that time period the value of the house increased. So now if they are getting divorced, so what is considered family property is only that increase in the value. Okay, but if they purchase the house together after they got married, so then the total value of the house is family property. Then we can say that will be divided. Okay, so remember that point, what is called family property, so that is divided. Next is, there are two things that never gets divided. Okay, so they will never be divided to anybody. So we need to remember those also. So what are those two things which are never divided? One is inheritance. Inheritance means gift. Okay, so maybe you know that already. So inheritance is gift. So like if husband and wife getting divorced and the husband is going to get some inheritance from his parents, from his grandparents, and wife, she says, she wants to say that in the agreement at the divorce, that if he gets that inheritance, she wants to get share in that, she won't be able to do that. Or same thing with the husband too. If wife is going to get some inheritance from her parents, from grandparents, so he cannot get the share in that as well. Okay, so that will never be divided. Second thing is, which is why we needed to know all these points, is life insurance death benefits. Okay, so this does not mean their own life insurance. That's where people mostly get confused. So this is not their own life insurance. This means that if they're beneficiary of somebody's life insurance plan, like husband and wife, they're getting divorced, and the husband is beneficiary of his parents, of his grandparents' plan, and wife knows that when they die, he's going to get the benefits. So she wants to get the share in that money too. So they cannot get the share in that. Same thing goes for the husband. If wife is beneficiary of her parents, her grandparents' plan, and the husband wants to get the share in those when she gets the money, that will not be divided either. So these are the two things that will never be divided. Only family property is what get divided. Okay, so these are the few points that we need to know for the differences in the marriage and common law spouse. So we would be able to answer anything if we remember these points. Next one is will. So I think you might know the meaning of this already. Will, because it's very easy. Mostly we use this word in real life, I think, as well. So will is in simple way, if I say this, there is a document that tells us that if somebody dies, how everything will be divided, whatever they own. Okay, so if somebody have a house, their business, some investments, whatever the person owns, how everything is going to be divided, the will tells us. Okay, in a proper way, what we say is, it's a document that tells us that who will be beneficiary of someone's estate. Okay, so the will is a document that tells us who will be beneficiary of someone's estate when they die. Okay, and then what is the meaning of this word? That's where people usually get confused here again. So this does not mean government. Okay, this does not mean that government is going to divide everything. Okay, or this word does not mean government. Mostly we get confused with this thing. So for the government we use this word, not that one. Okay. What is the meaning of estate? In easier words, very easy words, you can remember this. This is basically what somebody owns. Everything all together you can call that person's estate. Okay, so if somebody have a house, business, investments, gold, money in the bank account, everything, cars, whatever they own, all together I will call that this is that person's estate. Somebody does not have a house, don't have any business, so they have some money in the bank account, some gold, they live in a basement, so they have some stuff there. So then their estate will be very small, but whatever the person owns all together, I'll combine that, it's that person's estate. So that now this line says that whatever that person owns, whatever their estate is, how that will be divided, who will be the beneficiary of that, will is going to tell us that. Okay, so this is for everything else, but not life insurance. Okay, so we need the will for everything else that somebody has, but not for the life insurances. So it means that if anybody purchases a life insurance, so we write on the beneficiary of life insurance in the life insurance application. So when somebody dies, the insurance company is going to pay money to the beneficiary that they have in the insurance application. So even if they don't have a will, they will pay money to the beneficiary that they have in the application. But even if somebody have a will, okay, and they have a life insurance too, so in the will they have written that everything I own that goes to this person. Okay, and in the life insurances they have somebody else as the beneficiary. So life insurance paid will be money will be paid to the person who they have in the application, who the insurance company has as the beneficiary. Okay, and will is for everything else. So that is first an important point that you need to remember for this. A couple of more points that we need to know. Next is, if somebody dies with a will, so this term is used for that person. So it is said that the person died testate. Okay, so if you read this word in any questions and any stories, so you should remember the meaning of that. It means that the person had a will when they died. So it means that we know that how their estate will be divided. That is easy. Okay, but another point about this is that if somebody have a will, so we know that how it will be divided, but who's going to do it? Okay, who's going to divide it? Again, mostly people think it's government, but it's not. It's this person's job. Executor. So when somebody dies, whoever is the executor of that person, so they write down this person in the will. Whichever anybody wants to, they can write down their friend, their relative, their lawyer, anybody. So whoever will be executor, so that person will be in charge of their estate when they die. Okay, so they will be the in charge. So now the executor's job is to pay all the taxes, all the liabilities from the estate. Whatever the person's estate own, any liabilities they had, any taxes they have, so the executor will pay that from the estate. Okay, then what is left, that will be divided according to will. Okay, so that is this person's job to do. But still it's easy because we know that how everything will be divided. The problem is, what if anybody dies without a will? So if anybody dies without a will, so then we say the person dies intestate. So if you see this word in the question, so you should know that this person did not have a will when they died. So then the important point on this is that if this person did not have a will, so how we are going to know that how the property will be divided, how their estate will be divided. So how this is divided, so very important point to remember here. According to provincial rules of intestacy. Okay, so according to the provincial rules of intestacy. So that's what we need to say if anybody asks us that if anybody does not have a will and they died, how their property, how their estate will be divided. So we say that it will be divided according to the provincial rules of intestacy. So means in whichever province the person was living, according to the intestacy rules of that province, their estate will be divided. So now the government is going to do it. Okay, so the court is going to appoint maybe some executor for them, so that that person is going to pay all the taxes and liabilities, and then they're going to find out the right beneficiaries. So mostly maybe spouse and the kids. But if there are no spouse, no kids, then who would be the next person? So they will find out according to those provincial rules. Okay, and one very important term that we need to remember here that will be used in the next modules also. Probate fees. So we need to remember this word too. So this is the fees that will be charged by the government to find out the right beneficiaries if the person dies without a will. Okay, because they are going to have the fees for court, for lawyer, and maybe fees for finding out the right beneficiaries. Okay, some exactors fees that they're going to appoint for them. So everything will be charged from that person's estate. Okay, but this is how the estate will be divided. So if anybody, like we've seen any question, they say that they don't want to pay any probate fees, they want their right beneficiaries, money to be going to them after they die, so they can easily make a will. And then their everything will be divided according to whatever they have written in there. Okay, but not for the life insurances. So these are the few points that we need you to know for this. The next thing we have is we have some federal government plans. Okay, so we have some plans which are managed by the federal government of Canada. So we need to know a couple of points for those. Okay, so what are those federal plans that we have? So I think maybe you know some of those already. Okay, so we need to know a couple of points about them. First one is Canada Pension Plan, CPP. So this is one of the easiest plan, I think. So the points that we need to know for these is like how we put money in there, or when we get the benefits from these plans. So some of those things that we need to know. So first thing is then the contribution, that who puts money here, or how the money is added into this. So those people who usually work in Canada, so they might know already that this plan we have to put money into in this plan when we work. Okay, how much money we put in there, the percentage changes actually. Okay, so the percentage is not fixed. But anybody who's working even as an employee, as a self-employee, they have to contribute money into CPP. Okay, how much they put in, as I said, the percentage changes. I'm going to use an example here. Okay, let's say 10.5%. So right now the percentage is 10.5%. So it could be more or less in future. Okay, so but don't expect that it's fixed. So we can always check that from the Service Canada's website or Government of Canada's website, that what is the contribution percentage for CPP. Okay, so don't always use this. So but if this is the percentage now, 10.5%, so if anybody's working in Canada, so they have to put 10.5% of their income into CPP. Okay, they also put up a limit on this, so that nobody has to do too much of contribution, because if somebody's income is very high, the 10.5% of that will be very big too. So they will have to put lots of money into CPP. So they put up a limit on that as well. How they put up a limit? So they also have a maximum limit on this. So that is also not fixed. Okay, so it's different for every year. Mostly they're increasing that amount slowly. Okay, so how that limit works, that I can explain to you here by an example. Okay, let's assume that the limit for now is 60,000 income. So how this works? So how this works is that if anybody is making less than 60,000, so they will have to put 10.5% of all that income. Okay, so they will have to put everything. If somebody's income is more than 60,000, let's say somebody have 100,000 income. So how they'll set up a limit is that up to 60,000, they have to put 10.5%. Okay, up to that. After 60,000, they don't have to put any contribution into CPP. Okay, so any income they have more than that, they don't have to put anything into CPP. But up to 60,000, they will have to put this. And anybody whose income is less than that, they will have to put 10.5% or whatever the income is. So that's how this works. Okay, but I'm saying this again, don't think that these are the fixed limits, they change. Okay, so it could be anything right now, this could be some number, this could be something else. Okay, so that's how we figure out that how the contribution is done. There's one more rule for contribution, and that is the difference between employee and self-employed. I hope you already know the difference. Employee is somebody working for somebody else. Self-employee, they're working for themselves. Okay, so what is the difference of CPP contribution for them? The difference is a self-employee has to do the full contribution from their own pocket. According to whatever their income is, they have to put all the contribution, whatever it is, from their own pocket. The employees, they only have to do half contribution. Okay, according to their income, whatever their 10.5 or whatever the percentage is, they have to do only half contribution from their pocket. Why? Because their employer has to put in the other half. Okay, so if you see that there is one employee, the other one is self-employed, their income is same. So the money that will be going into CPP, that amount will be same too. But what is going out of their pocket, that will be different. He has to put all that money from his pocket. For employees, they only put half, and self-employed puts the other half for them. So the total is again same. So these are the couple of points that we need to remember for the contributions into CPP. Okay. So this rule that stays same, but these numbers, they're not fixed. Next point is then when somebody gets benefits from here. When somebody gets money from CPP. So we can get pension from CPP plan from age 65. So if somebody has worked in Canada, they have put money to CPP when they were working. So when they'll be 65, they can start receiving pension from there. Okay. How much pension they will get? That's not fixed again, because that depends upon how much money we contributed. Okay, it depends upon how many years the person has worked in Canada. So it will depend upon all that. So there's no fixed amount how much somebody would be getting. It depends upon their contributions. Okay, but whatever they get, that will be taxable income. So it will become their income of that year, and they will have to pay tax on that income. Okay, so those are the points that we need to remember for CPP. We'll have a couple of points more, but we'll learn those in segregated funds. I think for ethics, these are enough. Second one is Old Age Security or OAS. So this plan, Old Age Security or OAS, so this is the plan in which pension is given to people without any contribution. So nobody has to contribute anything into this. Okay, so like CPP, we put money when we work. So here there is no contribution. Okay, so from that we can understand one point here, that if anybody has worked in Canada, so they can get pension from CPP and OAS both. But if somebody has not worked in Canada, maybe like sometime we get call our parents, immigrate the parents and at the older age, so they have never worked in Canada. Okay, but when they turn older, they can get pension from OAS, but they don't get CPP. Okay, because this is only given to people who has worked, who has put money in there according to their contribution. Okay, so what is the condition for this? Because there is no contribution, but there is a condition to get this. Okay, so we need to remember those conditions. So condition is, so this is also given at age 65. Okay, so from 65 the person can get this, and there is one more condition, that the person should have lived in Canada for at least 10 years after age 18. Okay, so the person should have lived in Canada for at least 10 years after their age 18. So if anybody came to Canada when they were young, like 19, 20, 30, 40, so they will not have any problem, and at 65 they can get the pension. But the problem is if, again, the older parents, somebody's parents came here when they were 60, okay, so when they will be 65, they would have only lived here for 5 years, so they won't get the pension then. If they would have lived till like for 10 years, so they came at 60, they would have to live here till 70, so then it will be 10 years done, so then they can get the pension at 70. Okay, so they need to meet both of these conditions, then the person can get the pension from OAS. Okay, how much pension? That is not fixed again. So usually they're increasing slowly. So in whichever year the person will retire, so according to that, they will be 65 or they will be eligible. So according to that, they will choose that how much pension would be given to that person. Okay, so it's not a fixed number, so we don't have to remember that. But what we need to remember is that this is also going to be taxable income. So when somebody receives this, it would be taxable money for them, and they will have to pay income tax on that money. Okay, depends upon what other incomes they have in that year too. So altogether, they will have to pay tax on everything. Maybe one more condition that we need to know for this. One more. Sometimes people get confused on that. Sometimes they say the person would get the money if the person would have lived in Canada for 20 years. Okay. Now the timing is 10 years if the person after retirement, they want to stay in Canada. If anybody wants to go and move outside, like they want to maybe go back to their home country, they want to go and live in any other country after retirement, okay, and they also want to get OAS, so then the condition is the person should be 65 and they should have lived in Canada for more than 20 years after their age 18. Then they can get the pension from OAS. But if anybody is going to stay here, then 10 years is okay. Okay, so remember that why sometimes they use 20 years. So that is the second point, OAS. Third one is guaranteed income supplement, or GAS. I did not put any number here because this is mostly related with this. Okay, but it's actually kind of a separate plan too. Okay, but the condition for this, if I say that, so you will understand that, okay, so this is related to this. Okay, what is the condition to receive this? So GAS is only given to those people who are receiving OAS and they are still in low income. Okay, so that's why I did not put any number, I just put it with this, because this is only given to people who are receiving this already, so that means they should be 65, they should have lived in Canada for at least 10 years after their age 18, okay, and they are still in low income after retirement. Then they can get this supplement, they can get some extra pension, you can say. Alright, so how much is the extra income, how much pension we get, that is not fixed number. Okay, so usually they have limits changing every year. So how it works is, I can give you an example here. So if they have some income bracket, so the low income bracket they call it. So if somebody's income after retirement would be less than that, they'll get full GAS. Income will be a little bit higher, GS will be less. Income is a little bit more higher, GS will be less. And then they have a high income bracket. If anybody crosses that, then they will not get any GAS at all. Then they will only get OAS. Okay, so that's how this works. But how much is the GAS, how much is the income bracket, those are not fixed. Okay, so we can check for any year from the, again, Government of Canada's website. But one more point that we can remember for this, that this is not actually taxable. I wrote that wrong here. This is the only plan which pays tax-free benefits. Okay, so like this was taxable, but if anybody is receiving GAS with OAS, that portion is going to be tax-free, so we don't have to pay any income tax on that. And that's actually, I think, only plan, federal plan, that gives tax-free benefits. Okay. Then we have one more, last one. Number 4. Employment insurance, or EI. So this plan, maybe you know that this already as well, because mostly if we see your pay stubs, so we'll see this word written in the pay stub, in the pay stubs. So EI is a plan for which we'll be paying some premiums every month from our salary. Okay, so they take some percentage, again, how much percentage, that's not fixed. But every month, as in for employees, that's not for self-employees. So for employees, they're out of their salary, some money will be going out of some percentages, is going out for the premiums of EI every month. Okay, why it's going out? Because this can pay benefits. Okay, we need to know when. That's the important point to remember for this. So EI, for this I'm going to say one line, if you can remember that. So the line is, EI pays benefit if somebody loses their job due to the reason not in their control. It's very easy to remember. If somebody loses their job due to the reason not in their control. Example, somebody is laid off from their work, so the employer does not have work, so they lay off their employees. So EI can pay benefits for some time. If anybody gets some kind of disability, some kind of sickness, maternity benefits, so those all could be paid by EI as well. Okay, but how much benefits anybody get, so we don't have to get into any of those. Okay, we just need to know for disability, how much EI pays, but we'll learn that in the disability insurances. When we'll talk about personal disabilities, group disabilities, we'll learn about this too, so we can compare that. Okay, so right now in ethics, we just need to know that when this pays money. So I hope you already got that. And maybe one more point. Any benefits that anybody gets from EI, they will be also taxable benefits. Okay, so we have 4 plans. Only one is tax-free, that was GAS. This is also taxable. Okay, so these are the 4 federal government plans that we have. Okay, so we also have some provincial plans. So we're not going to do those because it's different for different provinces. So there will be too many if we talk about all those. But I'm just going to tell you the names, like which plans are provincial. Like they're not managed by the federal government. So the main ones are, the first one is healthcare plan. I think you will know, everybody usually knows that the care cards that we have, they're managed by the provincial government. So every province has their different healthcare plans. So it's not federal. Second one is workers' compensation benefit plan. Okay, or even in short form we usually call it WCB plan. Okay, why is that plan? Maybe if I give you example, then you will understand that. It's the plan which pays benefit if somebody gets some kind of injury or disability at work. Okay, so like if anybody gets disabled and while they were working, they get some injury while they were working, they cannot go to work now. So workers' compensation benefit is the plan that pays the benefit then. Okay, that's the second one. Because it could have different names or different amount of benefits in different provinces. So we don't have to go into all of those. Third one, which is also a provincial plan, is no-fault automobile insurance. No-fault automobile insurances. So car insurances, vehicles insurances. So in some provinces, not in all of Canada, Canada. In some provinces, they're managed by the provincial governments. Like in BC, we have ICBC. Okay, so which is, you can say, is managed by the provincial government too. So it's a no fault automobile insurance. That's the name for that. Okay, but it's also a provincial plan. Some provinces have it. I think in some provinces there are private insurance companies. Okay, so these are the 3 plans which are managed by the provincial government. Those 4 we have done, they were managed by the federal government. Okay, so those are the things that we need to know for those federal plans that we have. Next point that we have is so we have some legislations. Okay, legislation means some acts. So what we have in our constitution. Okay, there's some acts which are created by the government and written in the Canadian Constitution that tells us what some of the things that we should be doing or some of the things that we should not be doing. Okay, so we have to follow those acts. So we need to know, we have 5. Okay, so we need to know about all those 5, because again in the stories and the questions they can give you examples and they can ask you like, this agent has done something wrong according to which act. Okay, so you'll have to choose from those options, or maybe they'll give you example or a story and ask you according to this act what this person should do or what this person should not do. So if you'll remember those points, what we'll go over here, then you will be easily able to answer anything for those. So the first act that we have is the Privacy Act. So the Privacy Act is, I think from the name we can understand that this is to keep the privacy of people, so to keep the personal information of people safe. Okay, so that it makes sure that everybody have the responsibility that if you have somebody's personal information, how you have to keep it safe. Okay, so this is the Privacy Act for that. So if anybody misuses somebody's personal information of somebody have somebody's personal information, they gave it to someone else to misuse it. So according to this act, we can complain against that person. Okay. Now this act is a broad, wide act for everybody, for government organizations, for people, everybody. This has a further part called PIPEDA. Okay, this is a part of this. This part is only for businesses. Okay, so this part is only for businesses. So this tells the businesses how the businesses should keep the personal information of their clients safe. Okay. Now, if you get any story and if you see in any question there was a business transaction going on, somebody has information of their client and they misuse their information. So according to which act the client can complain against that business. So I'll actually say this. I will not say Privacy Act. Okay, so that's an important point to remember, that this part is for businesses, which tells the businesses what they should do, what they should not do. Also, this act tells the businesses that they should be only asking for relevant information from the clients. Okay, so any business, whenever there is any business transaction going on, we as a business owner, so we should not be asking any irrelevant information from the clients. We should be only asking what we need. Okay, not too many any personal question in too much of detail which we don't need for any application or anything. We should not be asking that. Okay, so if anybody is doing that, we can say according to this act, there could be an action taken against them. Okay, if you want to maybe know about a couple of responsibilities that this act tells for our business, we can remember those too. Okay, because whenever we will be giving any insurances, any investment to anybody, so we are also doing business. Okay, so according to this act, it will be our responsibility to protect that person's personal information. So how we do that is that if we have somebody's information on paper, it should be always kept in locked cabinets. So we cannot just keep the applications in open office or open cabinets, because anybody can come in and they can misuse, they can take the information and misuse that. So we have to protect it. Second is that if we have somebody's information on computer or on laptop, it should be password protected. So we should not be keeping anybody's information on a computer which does not have any password. Because again, anybody can walk in and they can misuse that person's information. Okay, so that all the points are given by PIPEDA. Alright, so Privacy Act, as I said, is for everybody. For the bigger act, this is for the businesses only. Okay, and if you're worried about the full form of this, I would say I don't expect that anybody would be asking you, because that will be a free question. Okay, because all the abbreviations, they are written in the textbook, and it's open book exam, so you can take the advantage of that as well. Okay, and in the book, in the index, before the first chapter starts, there is one page for all the abbreviations, so you can check all of them there. Okay, so we don't have to worry about full forms here. We need to know what that act is for. That would be the important point to remember for this. Okay, so that is the first fact. The Privacy Act. Second one is, so the second act is Human Rights Code. So maybe you already have heard about this before. So wherever we see this act is to control discrimination. Okay, and I think we can easily understand that what is discrimination. So we should not discriminate between two people, like on the basis of gender, age, color, gender. Okay, so gender or color, or maybe somebody's religion or anything. So we should not be doing any discrimination with anybody. So if anybody is doing this, so according to this act, we can do a complaint against that person. Okay, so as an agent or even as a person, so we should not be doing any discrimination with anybody. Okay, now that was a question for the agents. Next point is for the insurance companies. Can the insurance companies do discrimination or not? So the answer for that one is yes. So as a person, as an agent, we cannot do any discrimination with any other agent or any clients. But the insurance companies, yes, they can do discrimination. Okay, but only on reasonable and bona fide grounds. So only on reasonable and bona fide grounds. So the proper simple meaning of this, I can say, is when they have a proper reason, when they have a valid reason, only then they can do the discrimination. Otherwise, they can't. One very easy example I can give you here, and very important example even for life insurances, for ethics, you can remember this always. So that example is, so if you compare male and a female on the basis of gender, so if you keep their age same, their health same, their occupation same, everything else same, they are purchasing same amount of insurance from same company, okay, same plan. Difference is only one is male, other one is female, okay. So when they purchase that insurance, their premiums will be different. Why? Because the life expectancy of females in Canada is longer. Means life expectancy is for how long somebody is going to live, okay, or how long somebody is expected to live according to stats. So females' life expectancy is a little bit longer, male's life expectancy is a little bit short. Okay, so when you purchase insurance for a male and a female, and their premium at any age, males will be paying a little bit more, females will be paying a little bit less. So males can say that there is a discrimination here. Okay, males can say that why you're charging us more money for the same amount of insurance that you're charging less from females. Okay, so there is a discrimination there, but they have a valid reason, because the life expectancy of males is a little bit less, so they're a little bit more riskier for the company. So that's why at any age you can compare, premium of a male will be a little bit more and premium for a female will be less. So that is a discrimination, but they have a reason for that. Okay, so wherever they have a reason, as I said, they can do the discrimination. But if they don't have any valid reason, not on somebody's color, not on somebody's race, okay, not on somebody based somebody's ethnicity, they cannot do any discrimination based on those things. Okay, but if somebody is a smoker, other person is non-smoker, somebody is healthy, other person is unhealthy, so then they can change the premiums. So we can say that it's discrimination then, but they have a valid reason for that. Okay, so that is the second act that we have. Third one is PCMLTFA. Again, we don't have to worry about full form, but I'll just say it once. Okay, so this act is proceeds of crime, money laundering, and terrorist Financing Act. In simple words, if you want to remember that, this act is to control money laundering. Okay, so maybe I think you know the meaning of money laundering. Money laundering is simply converting illegal money into legal money. Okay, or even in simple words, people sometimes call it converting black money into white money. Okay, so that is called money laundering. So we should not be, anybody should not be doing that. So even the government does not want it. The government does not want anybody to bring any illegal money from any other country and put that money into financial system here. Okay, or even within Canada, they don't want anybody to make some illegal money and then the person try to put their money into the banks or into the insurance companies and try to make that money legal. Okay, so to prevent that, this act is there. So if you see any transaction that is happening and they're asking you that according to which act there should be action taken against that person, then you can say this. Okay. Next thing, one more thing about this. With this act, there is this organization called FinTrack. Okay, so there's difference between these two things. So remember that carefully. So this is the act which is written in the Constitution, which tells us what should be done or what should not be done. This is the organization. Okay, so this is not act. This is the organization to which we report transactions. So if we see that somebody might be doing something wrong, we have some suspicious transaction, we have to report that to FinTrack. Okay, and then this organization, they will check what the person has done. Did they have done anything wrong or not? Okay, so they will be doing that. So I will write down that hint here, so how we can remember this. So any suspicious transactions will be reported to FinTrack. Okay, and they will check that did the person do everything according to that act or not. And I can give you a couple of examples for this. So if we get any stories, so we would be able to answer those. So what could be the examples? First one you can remember is for ID. So if somebody is not giving us proper ID, so let's say I'm an agent and somebody comes to my office. They want to purchase insurance or they want to purchase some investment. When I'm filling the application, I ask them, can I see your ID? But the person says, oh, I don't have my ID with me. Can I give you a photocopy of my ID, or I'll give you my ID after? So that might be suspicious. So they might be using somebody else's information. Okay, so we need to report that to FinTrack again. So we always have to see original photo ID, government issued photo ID for somebody. Okay, cannot take any photocopies or any emails or anything. Next is we can do the same thing for POA. I hope you remember we just did that before in the beginning, power of attorney. So power of attorney, if somebody as a power of attorney come to my office and they say I want to purchase insurance for the person, like whose power of attorney they are. Okay, so they want to purchase insurance for that. And I ask them, can you show me the power of attorney? The person says, oh, I don't have the power of attorney with me. Okay, so if they don't have the power of attorney with them, they might be just lying to me. They might be telling me I can give you photocopy, I'll give you the sentence, I'll give you the power of attorney after. No, we have to see the original power of attorney that they created with the lawyer. Okay, so we have to see the original documents. If somebody is not giving us, they might be doing something wrong. That is a suspicious transaction. Okay, there could be another one. Somebody depositing too much cash. Okay, so they have a lot of cash and they want to purchase life insurance or they want to put that into an investment here. Okay, so those cash transactions would be reported as well. And this act is for the banks too. So the banks also report to FinTrack if somebody deposits too much money cash. So if we have any story and we need to know the limits, what would be reported? If anybody stays under the limit, that will not be reported. So what is the limit for this? So limit is if somebody deposits $10,000 or more, in 24 hours, that will be reported to FinTrack. Okay, so if somebody deposits like 5,000 today, 5,000 tomorrow, it's even 10,000 within 24 hours. Okay, or even somebody puts 10,000 in one payment or more than that in one payment, that will be again reported to FinTrack too. Okay, so this is the transaction that would be reported to FinTrack if anybody puts more than this within 24 hours. Or there is one more. If somebody deposits $100,000 or more. Okay, so that is a lot of money cash. So if anybody deposits this much money cash, so that would be reported to FinTrack. Also with this, we need to fill one more form. So we need to remember that as well. I'll write that down here. Okay, so only with above $100,000. So they will have to fill this form called PEFP, politically exposed foreign person. Okay, so if anybody deposits more than this $100,000 cash, so they will have to fill this form and send this to the FinTrack as well. Okay, and then the FinTrack will find out where the person got the money from. Why this form? Because they will be asking a few questions from the client. They will be asking some questions like this: that does the client knows anybody at a high government position or at a high political level in any other country, or maybe the client was themselves at a high government position or at a high political level in any other country. Okay, why? Because maybe they might have used their power, they might have used their influence in that country and brought the black money from there, and they're trying to put that money into financial system into Canada. Okay, so just to prevent that, this form would be filled and they will send that to FinTrack, and then the FinTrack will find out where the money came from. Okay, but if anything is less than that, they will report to FinTrack, but they don't have to fill this form. So that is the third act that we have, PCMLTFA, and remember that the FinTrack is organization. So read the question carefully if you get anything for this. If they ask you according to which act, they will have to report, so then you say PCMLTFA. If they ask you to which organization they have to report, then you say FinTrack. Okay, so just a small change can change your answer. Number 4, is DNCL. Do not call list. So DNCL or do not call list. So what is the meaning of this one, DNCL or do not call list? So this is a list in which people can add their personal phone numbers and their home phone numbers. Okay, so only personal and home phone numbers, so no business numbers in this. Okay, so what is the benefit of doing that? The benefit of doing that is if we add personal or home phone numbers in this one, the telemarketers, they cannot call on those numbers. I hope you know telemarketers, those random calls that we get, that we have this new product, this new deal for you, so you purchase something from us. So those are telemarketers. So they cannot call those numbers which are in DNCL. So why, as a life insurance agent, we need to know? Because sometimes the life insurance agents, they can also do cold calling, like which is not our system, but if anybody like to do cold calling, so they can. Okay, but when they do cold calling, so they have to check all the numbers in DNCL. If the number is in the DNCL, it's added, so we should not be calling on that number, because if anybody calls that, the person can complain and they will have to pay the fine then. Okay, but if the number is not in DNCL, then that number could be called. Alright, or maybe one more thing, we cannot add business numbers in there. So if any agent is doing cold calls just to business numbers, okay, so they know that it's business, they're calling business numbers, maybe they have the business directory, maybe you have seen those big books that maybe not anymore, there used to be those books there. So we can all get all those business ads in there. So the person is cold calling all the business numbers. They don't have to check DNCL. Okay, but if they have like a list of 500, 1000 phone numbers, but they don't know if it's a business number, if it's a personal number, so they have to check over all the list, and those who are not there, they can call those. But if the number is there, they should not call that number. So that is according to the DNCL. Fifth one is ASL, anti-spam legislation. So this one is for emails. Okay, so people should not be getting like too many random emails if they don't want to receive. So this is the act to prevent that. Okay, that one was for phones. This is for emails. But this is a little bit different than phones. Okay, what is the difference here? To send emails to send marketing emails to people, we need to have their email address and we need to have their permission as well. Okay, so it does not mean that if I have like phone numbers, if I have a list of 500, 1000 phone numbers, I can just check this and call everybody, not there. But here, if I get a list of 500, 1000 email addresses, I cannot just send them email. I need to have their permission also. So we need to have the email address and permission, then we can send marketing emails to people. And that happens mostly when we do shopping, online shopping, or any kind of shopping. We give them email address, then they send us emails saying that there's new sale or new products they have, because we gave them the email and the permission. Okay, so if anybody does not give the permission but they're just getting the email, so they can complain against that. So as an agent, then if we're sending emails, we need to have the permission and we need to have the email address of the person, then we can send emails. Also, when we send emails, even we have the permission, we need to include unsubscribe button. So in the email, we need to include unsubscribe button. Okay, why? Because if anybody does not want to receive any emails anymore, so they can click on that button and you will get the notification that that person does not want to receive emails anymore. Then we can remove that person from our list, of contact list that we have, because when we send marketing emails, we have actually one list. We type email, we click one button and everybody gets the same email. So we'll have to remove that person from the list within 10 days. So within 10 days, that person should be removed from that list and they should not get any emails anymore. But if we send them email again, then according to this act, they can complain against that person. Okay, so that is the act for emails. So if you see any stories related to this, I hope you would be able to answer those. For this phones, maybe you will be able to answer those too. So these are the 5 legislations that we have to control those few things that we have in the life insurances or in the financial industry. So after these legislations, we have few terms, like important terms, very, very important terms, to understand the contracts of life insurances. Or even not only contracts, even the questions of life insurances. Okay, so these are very, very important terms, so we have to understand them properly. Okay, so listen to these carefully. I'll give you an example of these also. So what are those terms? First one is easy one, also remember, insurer. So wherever you see this word in the questions, insurer means insurance company. Even in any contract you will see for life insurances, if this term is written somewhere, that means it's the insurance company from where the person purchased life insurance. Okay? So right down here as well, this is the insurance company from where the person has purchased insurance. If I use an example, let's use this example here. Let's say from ABC company, this person John, he purchased the insurance. So I can say that 2 ways. One is easy way, that John purchased insurance from ABC company. So everybody will understand that. In the questions, it could be said in a different way, and that could be that ABC company is insurer of John. Now that does not mean that he's the owner of the company. That means that he purchased the insurance from that company. Okay, so that's what insurer says. I hope you will be able to remember that. Second term is policyholder. So policyholder is the person who purchases insurance from the insurance company. So like in this example here, John is purchasing insurance from that company. So I'll say that this person is the policyholder. And this is the actual person who has the control in the plan, because they are the one who is purchasing the plan. So they are actually, you can even call them owner. Okay, because this is the person who is purchasing the plan, so they'll have the contract with the insurance company. They will decide everything in the plan, that how much coverage they want, which plan they want, from where they're going to pay the money. So everything will be decided by them. So this is the owner of the plan. Okay, so I hope you got it. This is the insurance company from where somebody is purchasing the plan. This is the person who's purchasing the plan from the company. Next is life insured. This is the most important person in the insurance plan. So this is the person on whose life the insurance is based. Okay, so I hope we can remember that. This is the person on whose life the insurance plan is based. Means that if it's a life insurance plan, then if this person dies, the money would be paid. If it's a disability plan, this person gets disabled, the money would be paid. Critical illness plan, this person gets the critical illness, then the money would be paid. Okay, so that's what I mean by that this is the person on whose life the insurance is based. Okay, and in the insurances, these two could be same person, or these two could be different. So if I use a couple of examples here, like this. So what this means now? So from that ABC company, John is purchasing a plan on himself. Okay, so he's purchasing a plan on his own life. If I change this a little bit more, like this. So John is purchasing a plan on his wife. So we did that before also, as I said, that we can purchase an insurance plan for spouses, maybe for kids, for grandkids. So he's purchasing a plan for his wife. So here he's the policy holder and his wife is life insured. Means if anything happens to her, then the benefits would be paid. Okay? And then that will take us to the next term, which is very easy. Beneficiary. I think everybody can understand this. Beneficiary is the person who would be getting money from the insurance company. Okay? And this person could be anyone. There is no restriction on that. Beneficiary could be your friend, your niece, nephew, uncle, aunt, parents. Okay, anybody we want, we can put that person as beneficiary. So if I put that in example here, so I think we can understand this plan now. This person, he purchased a plan on his wife and he named himself as the beneficiary in the plan. Means if anything happens to her, he would be getting money. So spouses can purchase the plan like that. Okay. If they don't want to do this, maybe they want to purchase the plan like this. So he purchased the plan on his wife and write on their son as beneficiary. Means if anything happens to her, he will be getting the money. If I change that more, maybe let's say like this. So he purchased the plan on his son and he named himself as a beneficiary. Maybe if not him, he can name his wife as beneficiary. So whoever they want to be the beneficiary. But the life insured is now their son. If anything happens to him, then the money will be paid. So these are some of the ways how the plans can be purchased. But if you get any stories, they ask you who would be policyholder, who would be life insured in the plan, who would be beneficiary in the plan. So by reading the story, you can easily find out like on whose life they purchase the plan and who is going to get the money. So you can easily answer the question that what that person is or who that person is. Okay? So these are the first few and easy terms that we have to understand here. Next ones we have one is successor policyholder, or this is also called contingent owner. Successor policyholder or contingent owner. So this is not what we have to do for everybody, but if somebody wants to, then we can put this in the application too. Okay, how and which kind of situation? Let's do one example. So if you remember that will help you understand more. So let's say this person's age is only 5. So as I said in the beginning, that anybody who's 16 or above, they can purchase their own plan. But this child is only 5. So parents, they purchase the plan for the kids because at the younger age the plans are cheaper. So that's what he did. He purchased the plan for his son and named himself as the beneficiary. Okay? And now I hope everybody you just remember the meaning of that, what we did before, that this person is life insured. That if anything happens to him, then the money would be paid. Okay? So, but here the worry that he has is that what if anything happens to him? Okay, he's the policy holder. If anything happens to him, he is too young. He cannot be the owner of his own plan. So he's worried that if anything happens to him, who is going to control the plan? Who's going to pay the premiums of the plan? Who is going to be the owner of the plan? So he wants to name somebody as that person. So from day one in the application, we can write down somebody as successor policyholder. Anybody he wants to be. He wants his wife, he wants his parents, he wants his brother, his sister, anybody he trusts that who can take care of that person's other child plan if anything happens to him. So we can put that person as contingent owner. Let's say he wants to put his brother as contingent policyholder, okay, contingent owner. So that means that until he's alive, he can't do anything, just a name written in the application. He has all the control then. But if anything happens to him and he's still young, he's less than 16, he cannot be the owner of his plan. And if he dies, then they'll make this person as the beneficiary, as the policyholder of the plan, not the beneficiary. So he will become the owner then. Then he will have all the control in the plan. If he wants to change the beneficiary, increase the coverage, decrease the coverage, cancel the plan, take a loan, whatever he wants to do then he will be able to do those things. But until he's alive, he cannot do anything in there. So if you see in any story, somebody wants to have this kind of person in the plan, and they are worried that if I die as an owner, I want somebody else to become the owner, what they should write down is, they should write down somebody as successor policyholder, or contingent owner, any of these two could be used. Same thing we have for beneficiary as well. Okay, same thing we can do for beneficiary too, but let's change the example a little bit for this. So let's say the example is like this. So I hope you can understand when I change the example that how the plan changed. So in this plan, he purchased the plan on himself, and he named his wife as the beneficiary of the plan. Means that if he dies, his wife is going to get the benefits. But one worry that he has in his mind is, as the owner, that what if she dies before him? And I think you can understand that if she dies before him, there will be no beneficiary in the plan. Okay? So his plan is just going to be going on with the empty beneficiary. And he's thinking, what if he forgets to write down somebody else as beneficiary after? Because if she dies, as an owner, he can maybe write down after anybody as beneficiary, his son or his daughter, or anybody he wants to. But he's thinking, what if he forgets after? He wants to fix that everything right now. That if she's not there, he wants somebody else to get money. Let's say he wants his son to get the benefits. Then what we can do? So he can purchase the life insurance, write down his wife as beneficiary, okay, and write down his son as contingent beneficiary. What is the benefit here? The benefit is that if she is alive and he dies, then she gets the money. He doesn't get anything. Okay? But if anything happens to her first, that means she's not there anymore, but he's alive. His plan keeps on working. After some time, he also dies, and because the beneficiary is not there, they have contingent in the plan, the insurance company will pay the money to this person. Okay? So that is the meaning of contingent beneficiary. That if this main beneficiary is not there when they died, then they get the money. Okay? But if this beneficiary was there when they died, then this person gets the money. They don't get anything. Alright? So that is called contingent beneficiary. So we can write down this in the plan as well. So these were the few terms that we need to know, the basic terms that we need to know for the personal life insurance plans. There is one more difference that we need to remember for beneficiaries, because beneficiaries could be written of two ways, two types, revocable or irrevocable beneficiaries. Revocable or irrevocable beneficiaries. So what is the difference between these two, revocable or irrevocable beneficiaries? So whenever anybody purchases a life insurance plan, they write down the beneficiary, they have to pick that will the beneficiary be revocable or will the beneficiary be irrevocable. Okay, so what is the difference between these two? Very, very important point. Very, very important point. I'll say it again, because this could be asked in the questions in life insurances, could be asked in seg funds too, okay, or maybe in ethics. Okay, so that's why it's important one to remember. So the difference between these is that if anybody write down revocable beneficiaries, the meaning of that is that this can be changed by policyholder whenever they want. If you remember, I just said that like a few minutes ago that a policyholder is the person who controls everything. Okay, so they are the owner of the plan. So if we write on the beneficiary as irrevocable, the policyholder can change the beneficiary whenever they want. So they don't have to ask the beneficiary, they don't even have to tell the beneficiary. They can just change the beneficiary. They can do anything in the plan without even asking anything from beneficiary. On this side, so don't think that they cannot be changed. So this one can be changed as well. Okay, so this can be changed by policyholder with the consent of beneficiary. So this can be changed by the policyholder with the consent of beneficiary. So I think we can just understand from this line here that the policyholder, they can change the beneficiary, but they will have to get the permission. If the beneficiary does not give them the permission, they cannot change the beneficiary. Okay, and not only just changing, even if the policyholder wants to do some big changes in the plan, not only just changing the beneficiary, another big changes. Okay, usually those changes which changes the death benefit of the person. So if the policyholder wants to do those changes, they will have to still get the permission. Example, the policyholder wants to take some kind of loan. Okay, the policyholder wants to decrease the coverage. Okay, the policyholder wants to withdraw some money from the plan. They want to decrease the premiums of the plan. So anything which affects the death benefits, basically, they will have to get the permission of the beneficiary. Small changes they can do, maybe when they want to change the address, change the phone number, change the bank account. So those things will not be, they don't have to ask for the permission. But for big changes, they have to get the permission of the beneficiary. So that's basically a problem here. So if anybody is owner, why would they be giving control to the beneficiaries? Why would be anybody naming their beneficiary as irrevocable? So the answer for that is the next point. If anybody named their beneficiary as a revocable beneficiary, they are not protected from creditors. If we write down the beneficiary as irrevocable, they are creditor protected. So this is the main point, the main difference that we need to remember between these two. Okay, what is this? I'll try to explain that a little bit. So creditors, maybe if you know, the creditor is the person from where we have borrowed money. We have taken money from somebody. Easiest example, bank. Let's say I have taken loan from the bank. So that bank is my creditor. Okay, so if anybody have any loans from the bank and they die, so the loans does not end automatically. So the bank will still have to recover the loan. So maybe they'll go after their bank account, their house, or their business, or anything else to recover their loans. Okay. This means that if the beneficiary is revocable, the creditors, they can go and claim against the life insurance money. Okay. So means that whatever the loans of the person were, they can go to the insurance company and they can claim directly from the insurance company for their loans. And whatever will be left, that would be given to the beneficiary of that person. On this side, the beneficiary is creditor protected, means that the death benefits of that insurance plan will not be touched by creditors. The insurance company is going to pay the money only to the beneficiary of that person. The creditors, to cover up their loans, maybe they can go after their house, their business, or anything else, but they cannot touch the life insurance money. But here, they can go after the life insurance money to cover up their loans. So the beneficiaries are not protected from creditors. Here the beneficiaries are protected from creditors. That is the huge difference between these two. Okay, that is the difference between these two that we need to remember. But this has a couple of exceptions. Okay, so we need to remember those couple of exceptions as well. Because if you get any stories, so then you see that something out of those happened, then you can give answer, is the beneficiary protected or is the beneficiary not protected, or how much the beneficiary would get. So you would be able to answer those if you remember the next couple of exceptions as well. Okay, so the first exception is family class beneficiaries. So if anybody, they name their beneficiary from their family class, even they are revocable beneficiary, they will be character protected. Means that if you write down anybody from your family as beneficiary, we don't have to write them irrevocable to give them character protection. Even we write them revocable, they would be protected. Okay? Which ones or who we can call family is parents, spouse, child, and grandchild. So parents, spouse, child, and grandchild. So only these are included in family class. Okay, so if we name anybody out of these, even revocable, they are character protected. Okay, so they will be protected. So if anybody dies, the creditors will not be able to touch the life insurance money. And mostly the beneficiary is one of these. Okay, but if you see anybody in any questions, somebody wants to name their beneficiary anybody else, like not in any of these, maybe somebody wants to write down their brother, their sister, niece, nephew, uncle, aunt, they would write down those people as beneficiary. So if they don't want to give creditor protection, they can just write them revocable. But if they want to give them creditor protection as well, then they will have to write them irrevocable beneficiaries. Okay, so that is very, very important point to remember, that who are called family class beneficiaries. They're also called, they have two different names. Family class is also called preferred class or protected class. So even if they use any of these names in the question, so you should know that they're talking about family class, these people. Okay, so these people we don't have to write them irrevocable to give creditor protection. That is one of the exceptions. We have second exception as well. So second exception is, you can write down this and you can remember this, whenever the policyholder and beneficiary is same person, there is no creditor protection. So whenever the policyholder and beneficiary is same person, there is no creditor protection. Okay, so this is very, very important point to know. So if you see any story where the person purchased the plan and they write down themselves as beneficiary, and the question is about creditor protection, you need to see that they will never be creditor protected. If I put an example here, what I mean, like this person here, John, he purchased the plan on his wife, and he writes down himself as beneficiary. So we can purchase the plan like this. Insurance company will not say anything for purchasing the plan like this, but he is never creditor protected. Even he belongs to family class. Sometimes we get confused with that one, okay, because people think that it's his family class, he's protected. No, because he is also the owner of the plan. Even he belongs to family class, even he write down himself as irrevocable beneficiary, he will never be creditor protected. Okay, but if they purchase the plan a little bit different way, so the wife purchased the plan on herself and name John as the beneficiary of the plan. So on that side, even she named him revocable, he's protected because he belongs to family class and he's not the owner of the plan. Okay, so that is what the difference I wanted to explain that there. So remember this exception. So if you see any stories in the questions, so read that carefully. If you see that policyholder and beneficiary same person, that they're never creditor protected. So the creditors would be able to claim that there. If you see somebody else as the owner and beneficiary is different and their family class, they would be creditor protected even they are revocable. Okay, but if you want to give anybody else as character protection, niece, nephew, uncle, aunt, they will have to write down that person as irrevocable beneficiary. So these are the few of the points that we need to remember for character protection. And I'm saying this again, we might need this in life insurances, maybe in seg funds, maybe in ethics. So that's why these are important points to remember. Couple of more terms for personal life insurances. One is suicide clause. So suicide clause is that if anybody does a suicide, like they have a life insurance plan and the person committed suicide, will they get the money? People usually say no. Okay, but the answer is that there is a 2 years time period. That if anybody they purchase a new plan and they do suicide within the first 2 years, then the insurance company don't pay any benefits. But if the person does a suicide after 2 years, then the insurance company can pay the death benefits. Okay, so that is one point that you can remember for this. Next one is exclusion. So maybe this is also easy to understand from the name. So if you compare these two words, included, excluded. Included is something is included in there, excluded is something not in there. So some kind of same thing, exclusion. So something that is not covered in the life insurance plan. Okay, so this sometimes could be added by the insurance companies when somebody is purchasing the plan. Okay, so at that time the insurance company will tell the person that we can give you coverage, but we are going to add exclusion for this thing. That means if you die doing this thing, we will not be paying you benefits. Alright, so they will tell the client in the beginning. And then the person, if they die doing that thing, there will not be any money for that. But if they die due to any other reason, then the money would be paid. So I'll give you an example. So when the exclusion could be added. So let's say somebody they do some kind of dangerous activity. So all the insurance companies, they ask this question, that do you do any dangerous activity or not? So the person says that they do skydiving. Okay, so now the skydiving is a dangerous activity. Okay, so it's a risk that when you're jumping from the sky, sometimes the parachute might not work, or if it might work, okay, but it might work late, the person could die in that accident. Okay, so if there is that dangerous activity, the person do that maybe on the regular basis, like once a month or twice a month, but they keep on doing it. So then the insurance companies, when they check the application, they see the person's health is okay, their occupation is okay, everything is fine. But this dangerous activity, the person, they do that on regular basis. So they want to give coverage to the person, but they want to add exclusion for that skydiving. So that means that if the person will die doing skydiving, there would be no money. But if they die due to any other reason, then the benefits would be paid. Okay? That's how the exclusion works. But they will not do it for anybody who just did skydiving once in their life or twice in their life. No. But if anybody do any dangerous activity on regular basis, skydiving, hiking, bungee jumping, mountain climbing, okay, scuba diving, so then they could be adding exclusion for that person. Or maybe even anybody who's traveling a lot. Okay, like somebody travels to a country like where there's a war going on, okay, and the person like travels there like twice a month or once a month because they have some business or anything there. So they can even add exclusion for that too. Like if the person died while traveling to that country, like just to that country, they will not be paying any money. But if they die due to any other reason, then the money would be paid. Alright, so any exclusion which is added in the plan, there will be no benefits for that. One more term. Actually, two more. So this is riders. So this is also very, very easy term to remember. Riders are meaning in the life insurance industry is extra benefit. Okay, or even in simple words, you can call this add-ons. Right, the extra features we can purchase. Like if you purchase any other plan, like cell phone you purchase. Okay, so if you have a cell phone plan, we get a basic plan, and then we can get some extra features like extra text messaging, extra data. So we can get some extra features in there. So we call them add-ons. In life insurances also, we can, or even in all the disability, CI, all the insurances, we can purchase a basic plan, and then we want to get some extra options with those, we can add riders. So they can get some extra benefit. Okay, so each rider, they're going to have their own premium. Each rider is going to give them some extra benefit also. So what are those benefits? What are the riders which are available? So we'll learn about all those when we'll talk about different insurances. Okay, but right now in ethics, we just need to know like what are the riders. So I hope you got that. It means just extra things that we can get. Now the last one. The last term for the personal insurance is living benefits. So living benefits are the benefits that somebody can get when they're alive. Okay, like life insurances, they pay death benefits. If anybody dies, then the money would be paid. But there are some options in the life insurances, okay, or there are some other insurance plans like disability or critical illness insurance plans that can pay the money when the person is alive. That can pay the money to the person whose insurance it is. Okay, so those benefits are called living benefits. So if you see that somebody have that kind of benefit in the plan, then you can say the person has living benefits. Which options are there? We'll learn about these as well when we'll talk about the insurance plans. Okay, so right now we just needed to know what is the meaning of this for ethics. So these were all the terms that we needed for the personal insurance plans. So after the personal plans, after the terms of the individual policies, so we have also some terms for the group plans. Okay, so group plans, or we can call them group insurance policies. Okay, so what is the difference here? One small difference that we need to know. So personal or individual plans are which we can purchase on individual personal basis. So I can have my own plan, like anybody in the family can have their own personal plan. So everybody have their individual plans. Group is not a group of a family. Okay, so group is a plan can be purchased by any employer for their employees, or any union or any association they can purchase for their members. Okay, so not for the families or the friends, only employer or union or association. So they as a group they can purchase a plan, and then all the members of those plans they could be getting the coverage from the group. Okay, so we have some terms for there also, like what plans are there, how those plans work. We'll learn those in the disabilities or in life insurances after. But here we just need to know the terms. So first term that we have is insurer. Okay, so insurer we already just did in the personal plans. It means the insurance company from where they would be purchasing the plan. Okay, next one is different. Plan sponsor. Okay, so plan sponsor is the one who's purchasing the plan. Like in the personal insurances, it was policy holder. So here we call them plan sponsor. So if I'm, let's say, I'm working in a company, so my employer is purchasing the plan. So my employer will be plan sponsor. If I'm part of a union, so union is purchasing the plan, so that union will be plan sponsor. Okay, so they actually have a contract with the insurance company in the group insurance plans. Okay, so the employees or the members of the union, they don't have any contract. The main contract is between the plan sponsor and the insurance company. So that means that they have all the control in the plan. That how much coverage they want, which plan they want, everything will be decided by them. Okay. Next is plan members. So plan members are the people whose life is protected. Okay, same example again. If I'm an employee, so my employer purchased the plan. So all the employees in the company, so I will be covered by that by that plan which my employer purchased, and I will be life insured. All the employees will be life insured too. So if anything happens to those employees, anything happens to those plan members, then the money would be paid. Who will get the money? Beneficiary. So whoever is the beneficiary in the plan, and who decides the beneficiary would be this person. Okay, because if I'm working in a company and my employer is purchasing the plan, so they can choose how much coverage they want, from which company they will be getting the coverage. But if anything happens to me, who will be getting the money, that I will pay, because I would like the money to be going to my families. Okay, so the beneficiary is only one choice that the plan members have. Everything else is controlled by the plan sponsors. Okay, so these are the few terms that we have in the group insurance plans that we need to remember. So very important terms. So you can remember these. But which group plans we have, so we'll learn about those in life insurances or the disability insurances. Okay. Next is formation of policy. The next option is formation of policy. So in this one, we're going to learn that how a life insurance plan is set up. Okay, like what are the steps to set up somebody's insurance plan. So very easy steps to follow. First one is application. So that's easy. So whichever plan somebody is purchasing, so we'll put all the information in there. What is their age, their health, their gender, their occupation. So all the information, how much insurance they need. Okay, so everything we put in the application and we send it to the insurance company. But one thing we have to keep in mind, this is not the day when the coverage starts. We're just applying for the coverage. If anybody says that they want to have coverage, the client says they want to have some coverage from this day, okay, then we have something in the control. There is something called temporary insurance. Okay, so it's actually called temporary insurance agreement, or TIA. So as an agent, we can issue this temporary insurance agreement to the client, so they will have some coverage from the first day. Okay, so there are conditions for this. Not everybody can get this, so we need to remember those conditions also, so that if you get any story, you can answer that, will that person get some insurance, or will the person not get any temporary insurance or not. So what are the conditions for this? The conditions for this are, the client needs to pay first month premiums. Okay, so according to the software, according to the amount of insurance they're applying for, so they need to get their bank information, or they need to get their word check, and the insurance company should be they should be giving the permission that the insurance company can withdraw the first month premium when they receive the application. Okay. Second is, they need to answer no to all TIA health questions. So they need to answer no to all TIA health questions. So in every application there is one page for temporary insurance, and on that page there are some health questions, usually 6 or 7 health questions. So the client needs to answer, like, if they actually have no answers, so they have, if they give no answers to all of them, then, and they give the first month premium, then we can give the temporary insurance to them. Even if the one of the answer is yes, we cannot give temporary insurance to them. Okay, they don't pay first month premium, we cannot give temporary insurance to them. Okay, so it's not always that we need premium in the beginning. Sometimes the client says, I don't want to pay the premiums on the first in the beginning. So they tell the agent that, let's apply for the insurance, let's see how much insurance company can give me insurance and how much premium will be, then I'll give you the premiums. So we can still do the application, but we cannot give the temporary insurance then. So if anybody meets both of these conditions, then they can have some coverage from the first day. We can give them some temporary insurance as an agent. Okay, so we can issue some coverage to them. How much temporary insurance will be? It could be equal to their amount of coverage, or it could be less than the coverage they're applying for. Because usually companies have a maximum limit for temporary insurance. So if somebody is applying for less than that, then their temporary insurance could be equal to same amount. But if they're applying for more than that limit, then they will be only getting their maximum limit of temporary insurance. Okay, so they won't be getting then all the coverage as temporary insurance. Right, so remember these two conditions for temporary insurance. Also, next condition as well. Next point could be, then if this is a temporary insurance, for what time period the person would be covered for. Okay, for what time period it will work for. So temporary insurance works for maximum 90 days, or until the main policy. Alright, so out of these two, whichever happens first, the temporary insurance will end. So if it's 90 days, then there would be no coverage because the temporary will end and the permanent has not started yet. Okay, here, usually this happens first. Because when we apply the plan, we send the application, the insurance company maybe get the medical done for the person, they check all the application, okay, and when they are going to issue the plan, they could issue in 10 days, could issue in 15 or 20 or 30 days, and then if this happens first, their main plan comes back, so then their temporary ends and that their main coverage will start from there. But here sometimes the main coverage, like they're setting up their main plan, could take time. Sometimes that we don't send proper information to the insurance company, or they go for doctor's records or something. It could take more than 90 days. And there would be no more coverage, temporary insurance. We'll just have to wait for the main coverage time. Okay, so these are the 2 points. Whichever happens first, the temporary coverage will end. These are the 2 conditions to issue the temporary condition to the temporary coverage to the client. And this one, there could be actually one more issue. Sometimes what happens is the client, they answer no to all the questions. They also give the permission to withdraw the first month premium. But what happens is, when we send the application to the insurance company, there is no money in the bank account. When the insurance company tries to withdraw the premiums, they're not able to withdraw because there is not enough money. So the point is, then the question is, what will happen to the temporary insurance? Or what will happen to their whole plan? The answer is that there will be no temporary insurance from that day because the company was not able to charge the premiums, but they will still process the main application. They'll still get the medical done or everything, whatever they need to set up the main plan. Okay, and when we go in with the main plan, then we need the premiums. Okay, so that is one more point that you can remember for this. So that is the second step, temporary insurance. We can issue that to client. Third one is underwriting. So underwriting process is the process of creating a contract. Okay, so this is the process of writing down everything in a contract. Because whatever we said in the application, so the insurance company creates a contract with that. Because always, as maybe I said in the beginning as well, there is a contract between the client and the insurance company when we purchase insurance. Okay, so somebody has to create it. So insurance company does that underwriting process. So they create a contract. And who does that? Underwriters. So sometimes people get confused with it. So they think that the agent's job is to create the contract and write on everything. No. We send the application to the insurance company. They have their special employees called underwriters. So all the applications which are sent to the insurance companies, so underwriters, they check those applications, they read applications, they see that how much risk that they have with the person. Okay, then the underwriters, they decide how much coverage somebody would be getting and how much premium somebody has to pay. So they decide everything and then they issue the plan to the client. Okay, if they think the person is very risky, they might even decline the coverage. If the person is a little bit less risky, so they can charge maybe higher premium than normal. If the person is of normal risk, they can set up a plan with the normal premiums. Whatever they want to decide, they will decide everything in their contract and they write down there. And then we have the last step then. Delivery. So that contract that they created, that also needs to be delivered. Okay, but the insurance companies, they don't send the contract directly to the client. So that contract the underwriters created, that contract is sent to the agent. And then the agent has to go and deliver that plan. Okay, so agent will have to go and deliver that contract that was created. Why? Because in the delivery, there are a couple of more things in there when somebody goes for the delivery. So when they go for delivery, first and very, very important thing, changes in insurability. This is very, very important point to remember. So whenever any agent goes for delivery, they have to ask for this, changes in insurability. That's why the insurance companies don't send the contract directly to the client. What is changes in insurability? Changes is that if there is any change in somebody's health or occupation, or somebody traveled outside of the country in this time period. Okay, as I said before also, when we send the application, the insurance company will check the application, they'll get the medical done. To set up their main plan, it could take like 10, 15, 20, 30 days, 60 days, or even maybe 90 days, sometimes even longer. So in that time period, if the person have change in their health or occupation or they travel outside of the country, the underwriters don't know that. They created the contract according to the information they have in the application. So we as an agent, we have to go and ask this. Okay, so if you see in any stories, somebody has change in their health, somebody has change in their occupation, or they travel into any other country outside Canada, so we say that there is a change in insurability. We do not deliver the plan if there is any change. We have to send that contract back to the underwriters. Okay, the underwriter will decide what is the change. According to that, are they going to give the same plan back? Are they going to charge more premiums? Or even they are going to give the coverage or not. If they think that the change is very big, the person has very big health issues, the person is very risky now, so they might even decline that. Okay, but it's our responsibility to ask for this. If there is no change, then we can make offer to the client. Okay, so then we'll offer to the client that that's how much the insurance company has offered you as insurance, and that's how much premium you have to pay. If the client agrees with that, they're okay with it, acceptance. So then the client can accept that plan, okay, and the client would be whatever coverage there is, so they'll get that coverage, whatever the premium the company said, they will have to keep on paying those premiums. Okay, and if they haven't paid the premiums here, then on the acceptance, they will have to pay the premiums. So they have to give their bank information or word check, and they have to give the permission that now the insurance company can withdraw the premiums. Okay, and then their coverage will start. So or if they had temporary before, then the temporary will end, and their main coverage will start. Okay, so these are the points that how the life insurance plan is set up. So remember these points for ethics, for life insurances, because these are the basic things that we need to know how a plan is set up. Next one is there is a free look period or write-off rescission. Free look period or write-off rescission. So this means there is a free time period that everybody gets as a client. Okay, so to look at their plan. How much is the time period? That is 10 days. So if anybody just want to read their plan and they want to see what is in the plan, okay, and if they don't like the plan, they would like to cancel the plan within the first 10 days. The benefit that they would be getting their premiums back. Okay, so from the day of delivery, the last step, if you remember that, from that day when we deliver the plan, the clients have 10 days in the insurance applications. So if they don't like the plan, they cancel the plan within those 10 days, then they will get their premiums back and there will be no more coverage. Okay, but if anybody cancels after 10 days, they might not be getting anything back. Okay, it depends upon the plan actually. If they have some cash value, they might be getting something. If not, they won't be getting anything. But here they will get their first month premiums back. That's why we call it free look period. Alright, so it's in all the insurance plans. Alright, but what I said, remember that main point about this, that when this 10 days starts. So I'll say it again, these 10 days starts from the day of delivery of the policy, the day the plan was delivered to the client. From that day they have this. Okay, but as a client, the client can cancel the plan anytime. Without even giving any reason to the insurance company, they can cancel their plan anytime. But the question is, the next point is then, how the insurance company can cancel. Can the insurance company cancel somebody's plan or not? Like as a client, we can cancel anytime. But as an insurance company, the insurance company will have to give a reason. It's a very important point here now, that why the insurance company can cancel somebody's plan. So they will have to give a reason. So we have 3 reasons for that. Without any reason, the company can't. The company will have to give the reason to cancel the plan. So what are those reasons that we need to know? First reason is, I think very easy reason to remember, non-payment of premiums. Okay, so first reason is non-payment of premiums. So if anybody does not want to pay their premiums, or if anybody missed their premiums, then their coverage would be cancelled. No company would be giving us coverage without any premiums. Okay, so they actually don't cancel it right away. If anybody missed their premiums, they give 30 days grace period. Okay, so the insurance company will give 30 days grace period to the person. So in those 30 days grace period, what is the meaning is that if anybody missed their premium within 30 days, they start paying their premiums again, their plan would be cancelled. But if the 30 days are also done, then their plan would be cancelled. There is no more coverage after. Okay. But if anybody dies within grace period, that is important point to know. Like if anybody missed their premiums and they die within the grace period, then the benefits would be paid to the beneficiary. What the companies do is they will take the unpaid premiums from the death benefits and they'll give the rest of the money to the beneficiary. Okay, but if the grace period is also over and then the person hasn't still paid it, then the plan would cancel. If they die after, then there is no more money because there is no more coverage. Okay, so that is an important point to remember for this. Next important one for this is, even if somebody's plan is cancelled, after that they get a reinstatement period. Okay, so they get some reinstatement period. So reinstatement period is for 2 years. What is actual meaning of reinstatement? You can say restart. Like somebody can get their same plan back. Okay, like after the grace period, somebody's plan is cancelled, but after some time they think that I want to get my same plan back. Okay, so they want to restart their plan again. So we can do that within 2 years after the cancellation. Okay, so they have 2 years time period, but they need to follow 2 more conditions. What are the conditions? One is the person will have to give the proof of their medical again. So they'll have to give the proof of their health again, that is their health is same. So there is no changes in their health. That is one thing. Second is they will have to pay all the unpaid premiums in one payment, because this is 2 years time period. Somebody could want, they might want the reinstatement after 6 months. Somebody might want the reinstatement after 10, 15 months. So all those months they have missed their premiums, they have to pay all those at once. Okay, and they need to give the proof of their medical that there is no change. So after doing all that, then they can get the reinstatement within 2 years. Okay, but if the 2 years are gone, there is change in the health, they cannot pay all the money in lump sum payment, then they cannot get reinstatement of a plan. Okay, so that is important. And one more important thing for this you need to remember. I hope you remember we just did before this a couple of more points ago, suicide clause. And life insurances, we have that 2 years time period. If anybody does a suicide, okay, they don't pay any money. So with the reinstatement, that time period will start again. So if after reinstatement, if somebody does a suicide within the first 2 years, there would be no money. After 2 years, if somebody will do the suicide, then the money would be paid. Okay, so that is another point that you can remember with this. Second one is fraud or material misrepresentation. Fraud or material misrepresentation. I think this is very easy to remember again. So fraud or material misrepresentation is somebody lied to insurance company. So they knew about something, they hide that from insurance company, they gave wrong information to the insurance company on purpose. That is called fraud. So if anybody do this, whenever the insurance company finds out, after 1 year, 2, 5, 10, 20, whenever they will find out, they'll cancel the plan. Even if they find this out after the death of the person, they will not pay the death benefits. Okay, so that's why it's very important for us to explain to client that they should be giving all the right information to us. They should not try to do any fraud with the insurance company, because there would be no point of paying premiums. The company will not be paying any benefits, or they will cancel the plan whenever they will find out. Okay, so we should be giving all the right information to that. Third reason is innocent misrepresentation. So innocent misrepresentation is if somebody gives wrong information to insurance company by mistake. So they maybe did not understand the question, okay, or maybe they forgot about something which they forgot to tell to the insurance company. Okay, so if anything like this happened, then the company can cancel the plan only within first 2 years. Okay, and they will not always cancel that. They will always see that what a misrepresentation the person has. So if the misrepresentation is very small, they might not even do anything. If the misrepresentation is a little bit big, they might change the premiums. If the misrepresentation is very big, it's innocent, they can only do the cancellation within the first 2 years. After that, they cannot cancel the plan. Okay, so these are 1, 2, 3 reasons why the insurance company can cancel somebody's policy. Without any of these reasons, the company cannot cancel anybody's plan. But the client, they can. They can cancel the plan anytime. Okay, so those are the key points that we need to remember for the cancellations of the plans. Next thing, we have some basic information about the plans which are available in this industry. Okay, we'll be learning about these in the next modules, but here we just need to know like what are those plans. So there are some accident and sickness insurances, so which we can provide with this license. Okay, so we need to know those. Which ones are those? One is disability insurance. Second one is critical illness insurance. Third one is long-term care insurance. Fourth one is, actually I'll write on the short form of this too, LTC. Next is accidental death and dismemberment, so AD&D insurance, and last is extended medical plans. Okay, so these plans are all called accident and sickness plans. So we'll be learning about these. We'll be learning about all these plans in the accident and sickness book. So these are called accident and sickness insurances. So that's our actually next module. Maybe you can do it on number 3, any number you want to do it. But this is the one of the modules that we'll be learning about. Here we just need to know like when these insurances pays money. Okay, just the basic thing that we need to know. Okay, how much coverage and when the benefits would be paid, all those things we'll learn in the next modules. Disability insurance, very simple. If anybody gets disabled, they get some kind of injury, we get the benefits from that. Critical illness, if somebody gets some kind of major illness, big illness, they can get the benefits from that. Long-term care insurance. So this pays benefits if somebody is not able to do their daily activities, right? The daily activities like eating, bathing, transferring from one place to another, they cannot move by themselves, okay, dressing. So some of those activities, if somebody is not able to do, so they need somebody's help for care. So this insurance can pay the benefits. Accidental death and dismemberment. So from the name we can understand this insurance pays money if somebody dies in an accident, or if somebody suffers dismemberment in an accident. Dismemberment is loss of a body part permanently, loss of a limb. That's called dismemberment. So this insurance can also pay money in that case too. How much or when, we'll learn that too. Extended medical plans. So this one we'll be learning about those medical plans which are not covered in the provincial plans that we have. And I hope you remember that we did that before, that there we have the provincial health cards, the healthcare plans that we have, different for the different provinces. So some of those things, some of the medical things are not covered in there. Like if we go to dentist, if we go to the pharmacy, if we go for any eyeglasses or eye checkups, so those things are not covered in the provincial plans. So these are some of the extended healthcare plans that we can purchase for family, or the employers they can purchase for their employees. Those are also called extended accident sickness plans. So these are all the insurances, we'll be learning about these. But in ethics, we can expect to get one basic question about these. Okay, basically like when the benefits would be paid or anything like that. Okay, so we can just remember which options are there. Next we can do with this license is, we can do all the life insurances. Okay, so whatever type of life insurances here are available, so we'll be learning about those in the life insurance module. Okay, but we can provide all these services with this license. Third is segregated funds and annuities. So these two are actually investments. there are two different investment plans of the insurance companies. So with this license, we would be able to offer these two investments as well. Okay, what is the difference between them? Okay, what is the difference between investments? So this investment, I'll give you a couple of points about these. We'll learn about these in this module, seg funds and annuities. These are actually our next three modules that we have to do. So seg funds, this is an investment in which we have some guarantees. Okay, how much guarantees we have? I'll just write in a couple of points about this. So seg funds have minimum 75% guarantee of the money somebody invests. So if I invest $100,000, it's guaranteed that even if the market goes down, because investments, they keep on going up and down. So even if the market drops, I can get 75% of my money back. Okay, there are also seg funds with 100% guarantee. Okay, so if I purchase that, then if the market drops, I can at least get all of my money back. Okay, so we have minimum 75% guarantee there. It could be 100% too. Also, they have minimum 10 years maturity. So it could be 15 years also, could be 20 years, 25 years also, but we cannot have maturity less than 10 years in seg funds. Okay, usually when we get 100% guarantees, the insurance company, they usually give 15 years or 20 years maturity, so they give longer maturity to those people. If we keep 75, then it will be okay with 10%. 10 years. So these are a couple of key points that you can just remember here. Okay, so this is an investment with this guarantee, and this is the maturity that we have in seg funds. The other options, everything, we learn in the segregated funds book. If you talk about this investment, annuities. So this is totally different investment. Okay, in this investment, what happens is people get money back in payments. Okay, like if I purchase an annuity, what I will do is I will give money to the insurance company. They will give me my own money back plus some interest in payments. Okay, like if I use example here, let's say I have $100,000. The insurance company, I gave that money to the insurance company. They will give me my own money back with some interest that they promised in payments. Okay, so it will be some kind of guaranteed income. So we decide everything, like when the payments will start, how long somebody will get the payments, okay, how much their payment will be, and every payment will have some of their own money and some of the interest portion. And whatever time period they pick, they'll keep on getting the money for that time period. And after that, their all money will finish and the interest will finish. Okay, so it's kind of converting the money into payments, guaranteed income. So if you see somebody's looking for an investment where they want to get some guaranteed income, so this would be the option. And they would be getting some interest with their money too. So that is called an annuity. But what are the important points about that? We'll learn those in seg funds and annuities book. As I said, the options, that how we can put money in there, or when we can get the payments, how long somebody will get the payments, all those options. But there is one more thing that I would tell you here. That is the terms that are used in the annuities. Okay, so terms that are used in annuities are these: insurer, annuity holder, annuitant, and last one is pay. Okay, I just write down all those together. We can compare these with the life insurances. So insurer is same in the life insurances too. But the person who purchased life insurance, we call them policy holder. But if anybody is purchasing annuity, we call them annuity holder. Annuitant is like the life insured in the plan. It's the person on whose life the annuity is based. Okay, like in the insurances we have life insured. Paid, instead of beneficiary, we call that person paid. The person who will be getting payments from insurance company. Okay, so that is not called beneficiary here. We call that person paid. So that's how the terms of the annuity are used. So if you see in any question or any story, somebody is purchasing a plan for themselves. They're purchasing the annuity for themselves. So annuity holder, annuitant, and payee would be the same person. Like if I use my example, I give money to the insurance company and I tell them that you give me payments for the next 10 years, or you give me payments for until I'm alive. So I'm purchasing the annuity on my life and I will be getting payments. Okay, so or we can purchase it for somebody else too. So I tell the insurance company that I'm purchasing annuity for my maybe parents. Okay, for my father, give him the payments until he's alive, or give him payments for next 10 years. I'm purchasing the annuity, but he's a annuitant. It's based on his life, and he's the one who's going to get the payments too. Okay, so these three could be same person, or could be these two could be different person, and that could be different person too. Okay, so these are the two investments that we have in this ethics course that we have. So these are the three modules or next modules that we'll be doing. So these are the services that we can provide with this license. There are some more services that we cannot provide with this license. For those we need to have a separate plan. Okay, for actually not separate plan, we need to have a separate license for those. So what are those separate services for which we need to have a different license? One is mortgage. So we cannot provide mortgages with this license. We need to have a separate license for that. Okay, so next one is mutual funds, shares or stocks is same thing. So if anybody you see that in any stories they want to purchase mutual funds or shares or stocks, so we cannot provide them with this license. We need to have a separate license for mutual funds too. Even if any agent who has a life license and they go and see a client who has a mutual funds, so we should not be giving any suggestion about mutual funds too if you don't have any license for those. Okay. Next is property and casualty insurance. So property and casualty insurance is simply car insurances, house insurances, any vehicle insurances, or some kind of business insurances. So we cannot do those with this license. Okay, so for all these three, we need to have a separate license if anybody you see they want to provide the different services. With this, we can provide only these services. Okay, so that is also an important point that you can remember, because we should know that what we can do or what we can't do. Next point we have is for claims. So this is a very important point, because we could be getting stories and we might have to answer them, that who would be getting death benefits, or who would be getting money from the insurance company. Okay, so anyway they could be asking you and giving you stories on these. So how those stories changes, I'll give you 5 different points. So very, very important points. So now it will be your responsibility to read the story and figure out that what is happening in there. Okay, but these could be only these 5. How this works, or who would be getting the claims. First thing that we need to know here is this word claimant. Sometimes instead of saying that who would be getting benefits, they will ask you who will be the claimant in the plan. So what is the meaning of this word claimant? Means that who will be putting in the claim with the insurance company. That person we call claimant. Okay, so who will be claimant? Most of the time it will be beneficiary, because when the life insured will die, the beneficiary will go and do the claim with the insurance company. So we'll say the beneficiary is the claimant. Okay, or we'll say the beneficiary is the one who will be getting money. But there could be 4 other different people. Okay, next one we already know, because we have done that before. Creditors. Sometimes the beneficiary is not creditor protected. Then the creditors of the person, like whatever the loans they had, then the creditor can also do the claim with the insurance company, equal to whatever loans they had. Okay, not more than that, but they would be able to claim against the money. So they could be the claimant as well, but I'm not going to go explain again when the beneficiary is protected, when it's not. We have already done that before. So if you don't understand that, you can go back and you can check that. The next ones are the new ones that we need to know. Sometimes our answer could be this: as somebody's trustee will be the claimant, or the trustee will be doing the claim. when, let's do one example. So let's say this person John, he purchased a plan on himself and he writes down his son as the beneficiary and who is only 5 years of age. Okay, let's say he purchased this insurance of $1 million. Okay, so in simple form, in simple words, I think we can understand that now, that he's policyholder, he's life insured, and he's beneficiary. So if he dies, the beneficiary would be getting benefits. Okay, so we can easily give that answer. But the problem here is that the beneficiary is only 5. If he dies, even this year, maybe next year, so he could be only 6, 7, or maybe 10, and then he dies, he would be getting benefits. The problem is he's very young. A 5-year-old or maybe even a 10-year-old will not know what is life insurance, okay, or even if they get this benefits, where to put this money, how to use this money. So they will not know that. So that's why whenever somebody's beneficiary is young, the money, the benefits would be paid to some trustee, whichever they have written in the plan. If they don't have one, then maybe court will appoint one. Okay, because if there is no trustee and the beneficiary is young, the benefits are usually paid into court. The insurance company don't decide anything. The insurance company won't keep anything to the money with themselves too. So whenever the insurance company cannot find out who should be getting the benefits, they always pay the money to court. Then the court decides. So that's why whenever the beneficiary is young, we should put trustee in the application. And what is the age limit for that? We can use 18. So don't use 16 here. 16 was to become the owner of the plan. Okay? If the beneficiary is less than 18, we can put a trustee in the application. So that if the person dies and the beneficiary is still young, the trustee can be the claimant and they can do the claim for their beneficiary. Okay? If the person grows older, like he purchased the plan when he was 5, but when he died, he was 25, he was 30, 35. Then we don't need trustee, then he can do the claim for himself. Okay, it's only required when the beneficiary is young. And if there is no trustee in the application, and the beneficiary is young, then the money would be paid to court. So then the court will decide who will be the beneficiary, who will be the trustee, and who will be keeping the money for them. Okay, so that could be your third solution. So this could be your answer sometimes. Or maybe court could be your answer sometimes if there is no trustee, or in any situation the insurance company cannot find out the right beneficiaries. So they will pay money into court. So sometimes that could be your answer too. Next one, sometimes the answer could be this. So the policyholder, they could be getting benefits. When this person will get the money. I hope everybody remember, you remember the meaning of this. Policyholder means the person who is purchasing the plan. Okay, so when this person would get the benefits, let's change the example a little bit. So let's say this person John, he purchased the plan on his wife, and he writes down himself as the beneficiary of the plan. Okay, so this is a basic how the plan is purchased, that when she dies he would be getting the benefits. Actually we have to write down another beneficiary, not him. Let's write down their son as the beneficiary of the plan. That would be more appropriate example to use. So he purchased a plan on his wife and he named his son as the beneficiary of the plan. Now this is how the plan was purchased, but in the story they'll do some changes. So they said that their son, he had some accident or he had some health issue, so he died. Okay, so that means then there is no beneficiary in the plan. As the owner, he could have decided somebody else as a beneficiary. He could have written somebody else here, but he didn't do it. His plan keeps on working like this. Like their plan keeps on going like that. After some time, after maybe 1 year or a few months, or maybe after a few years, now she dies. There was no beneficiary in the plan then. Who would be getting benefits? The policyholder. This is a very important point to remember here. So whenever there is no beneficiary in the plan and the life insured dies, okay, you can write down, and it would be very helpful to you if you remember that. If you see in any situation there is no beneficiary in the plan and the life insured dies, the policyholder will get the death benefits. Okay? And then we have the last one. which is somebody's estate. So somebody's estate can get the death benefits too. And that would be like in this example here. So let's use this example here for this. So John, he purchased the plan on himself and he named his wife as the beneficiary. So in normal situation, I think we can answer that if he purchased the plan on himself means if he dies, this beneficiary is going to get the money. So his wife is going to get the benefits from the insurance company. But the problem that happened is that his beneficiary died first. So that means then there is no beneficiary in the plan. He's still alive, so his plan keeps on working. As a policyholder, he could have named somebody else as a beneficiary, but he didn't do it. Maybe he forgets to do it, or maybe he does not have anybody else, so he did not do anything in the plan. So his plan keeps on working like this. After some time, after a few months or a few years, now this person dies. So the insurance company, now they have to pay money. Okay, so now the insurance company, they have to pay money here. So who will be getting benefits here? So we just did here that if there is no beneficiary in the plan and the life insured dies, the money goes to policyholder. But he's the same person. If he dies, this person is also dead. So the answer would be, in this case, the money will be given to John's estate. The benefits will be given to John's estate. Okay, so whoever is going to get the benefits, this is what you can remember for this. If you see in any story, whoever was supposed to get the money and they died, the money would be given to their estate. So that's what happened here. There was no beneficiary in the plan, so policyholder was supposed to get the benefits, but he also died. So they will pay money to that person's estate. Okay, so that would be, don't say John, don't say just John as an example in the answers, that would be wrong answer. Because he's dead, so the money would be given to his estate. Okay, then according to his will, how the estate will be divided, the death benefits will be also divided like that. Okay. So these are the 5 options that you could have, and this one sometimes could be confusing. So I'll give you one more example for this. So let's use this example here. Let's say the plan was purchased like this. So sometimes they could, to confuse more, they could say that these people died on the same day. Okay, like the other example, previous example we have done. In that example, we just did that the person died, this one person died today, other person died after some time period. But here we're going to do with what if some people, the 2 people or 3 people, they all die on the same day within 24 hours. Then how the benefits would be. Mostly people give wrong answer for this. They always say this person's estate will get the benefit. Policyholders. No, it does not. It's not always that. We have to see the order of death. You have to see who died first, who died second, who died third. So you can do a couple of orders here. If we can do one example here. So let's say this is how the plan was purchased. So they were all 3 going in a car. They have car accident. They all 3 died on the same day within 24 hours. But they will give you order of death in the question. Okay, so they might be something like this. So this person died at first, okay, at the spot. This person died after a couple of hours. Okay, they died after a few hours, maybe 2-3 hours after this person. And this person was the 3rd person to die on the same day. So our question would be that who would be getting the benefits here? Okay, so what I told before was that we have to see the order of death. Who is supposed to get money? If they die, their estate would be getting benefits. So here, if we see this, that this person is the first person to die, whose life insured. This is the second person to die. Okay, so when the life insured dies, the insurance company has to pay money. So when this person died, the beneficiary was alive. So they were supposed to get the money, but they also died. So the company will pay money to their estate. So it will not go to this person here. The beneficiary was alive when they died. So they were supposed to get the money, and they died. That's where the money would be paid to their estate. Okay, if I change the order a little bit, like this. Then the answer would change. Okay, so now the beneficiary died first, the life insured died at number 2. So when the life insured dies, the insurance company has to pay money. But when they died, there was no beneficiary in the plan. The policyholder was there. Okay, so we did that line there, that if there is no beneficiary in the plan and the life insured dies, the money goes to policyholder. So he's not there, the money goes to policyholder, so he was supposed to get money and he dies. So then my answer would be John's estate. Okay, so you have to read the stories very carefully, you have to check the order of death, and then according to that you can give answers that who would be getting the benefits. Alright, so that's how you can give the answer for those. Next one is disappearance and presumption of death. So this means that if somebody disappears, it's like somebody is lost, nobody knows where the person is. So what will happen? The insurance company will not consider that the person is dead. Okay, so what happens is that if anybody disappears, there is a 7 years time period. Okay, so don't say the money would be given after 7 years. So after 7 years, the beneficiary, they can go to court and they can ask the court, they can request the judge to declare that person dead. Okay, and then the judge will look at the investigation and everything, and if they think that the person is actually died because nobody is able to find them, so they can declare the person dead, and then they can get the money after 7 years. Okay, and this is the wait period if there is no proof. Okay, if there is a proof, they can find out the proof that the person actually died. Okay, they can find out the proof before 7 years. Maybe somebody disappeared now, and after 4 months, after 5 months, the person finds out the proof, maybe their dead body, maybe they find out some video proof, or maybe somebody else who can prove that the person actually died. Okay, then they can get the money before 7 years, and they don't have to wait for that much. But if nobody knows where the person is, then they'll have to wait for 7 years, and then they can go to the court and ask the judge to request to declare that person dead. Next, last point for claims. Denial of claims. So denial of claims is that why would the insurance company not pay anybody's claim? Why would they say no, that we're not going to pay the claim for the person? So what are the reasons for that? First one is we already have done that. Fraud. If somebody lied to the insurance company. Okay, so they did a fraud when they purchased the plan, so the insurance company will not pay the benefits if they found out of that after the death. Second one is when payment goes against public policy. So when payment goes against public policy. So this simply means if somebody does any criminal activity to get benefits, or somebody died doing a criminal activity, there will be no benefits. Very, very easy example, like husband and wife, they have their insurance, they have each other as beneficiaries. Now one of them killed the other person to get the benefits, or one of them gets the other person murdered from somebody else to get the benefits. There's no benefits. Or maybe somebody died while doing a robbery, they were running away from cops, they have an accident, they died in that accident, there would be no money. So whenever anybody died doing a criminal activity, okay, or somebody does any criminal activity to get the benefits, there will be no money. So the insurance company will not pay the claim. So these are the two reasons why the insurance company can deny the claim. Okay, if there is no other any reason like that, the insurance company, they usually pay the claim within 30 days time period. Okay, and it's not fixed 30 days, but they usually take 30 days of time period and then they pay the money. Alright, but as an agent, we cannot promise to our clients that the money would be paid for sure, because the insurance company is going to check so many things. They might have done fraud or anything. So we should not be promising anything to anybody. We can just say that we could be getting the benefits if everything is okay, maybe within 30 days or somewhere around that. That's the normal time period that is used. So those are the few points that we needed to know for the claims in the life insurances. Next thing is, we have some organizations that we need to know for the insurance industry. So these organizations are just for the insurance industry. They control a few things here. So what are these? First one is provincial and territorial regulators. Provincial and territorial regulators. So this is, if you just read this name here, regulators. So this is an organization which regulate insurance industry in their province. Okay, this is the organization which controls, you can say, the insurance industry in every province, because every province and territory, they have their different organizations. So BC has their own, Alberta has their own, Saskatchewan has their own. So every province have their own regulatory body. So they regulate all the agents. They do follow the rules. All the insurance company follow the rules. All the agents and the insurance companies, they do the right things with their clients. Okay, so nobody do anything wrong. So that's how they regulate this. Also, this is the organization which gives license. So after passing the exam, when we get the license, we'll be getting from these regulators. So if anybody is from BC, they'll get the license from the BC's insurance regulator. Anybody is from Ontario, they'll get the license from Ontario's provincial regulator. Okay, so we'll get the license from these regulators here. And if anybody do anything wrong, this is the organization that will be also revoking the license. So they will be taking the license back from that person if any agent will be doing anything wrong with any of their clients. Okay, so that is also their responsibility. With this organization, as an agent, we also have one more very important responsibility. And that responsibility is that we can only provide services in the province in which we are licensed. Okay, what I'm trying to say here is, let's say I'm from BC, British Columbia, and I want to go to Ontario. I want to go to and provide services in Ontario. I have, let's say, my friends in Toronto or my family in Toronto. So I want to go and provide them services. I will have to register my license with the provincial regulator in Ontario. And then I can go and provide services there. So in whichever province we want to provide services, we have to register a license with the provincial regulator over there. And then we can provide services there. Okay? Another point, if we are not licensed there, and somebody comes and visit you in this province, let's say again, I'm from BC and I have a friend who comes from Toronto to visit me in BC. Okay, so I have license here. So while he's visiting here, then even if I'm not licensed in their province, I can provide them the insurance services here because they are in my province where I have the license. Okay, so it's very important point to know, a responsibility that we have to remember, that we can provide services only in the province in which we are licensed. So if somebody comes here, then we can provide services. If we want to go, then we have to have the license over there too. And at one time we can have license in all the provinces. Okay, so there is no restriction on that. So that is the first organization. Second one is very easy, CISRO. So their job is to maintain qualification standards of life insurance agents. So this organization's job is to maintain qualification standards of life insurance agents. Okay, so how they do this, all this material that we are studying, that is all created by them. So they keep on updating that as well. Okay, so to become an agent, so we need to know everything, all the basic things. So they maintain those standards that everybody should have this much knowledge, and then we can go and serve people in this industry. Okay. Third one is a service. So this is very important organization, and it's not a government organization, this one. This is a non-profit organization. Okay, and this protect the clients if any insurance company goes bankrupt. Okay, so there could be, and lots of people, they have this question that what if I have a plan and the insurance company runs away, the insurance company goes bankrupt, what will happen to my coverage? So Stories is a non-profit organization